All right, we're about to go live in 2 minutes. Copy that. You are muted right now, so it's not going through. So I can talk to you, the voice of the universe.
They're there for selling things. It's there for sale, and that's what the trade shows are for. They all come together. It's a great big unit, and everybody can go there and see all kinds of different audio things from one side of the music world to the other.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I mean, if we're talking about trade shows in general, every industry has their own trade show, and this is our trade show for the music industry. And so you'll see all of the big vendors like Avid and Korg and Yamaha and Akai and all of the big companies from our industry just showcase their latest product. I think this year was big on the new technology that is now emerging in our industry. So it's really cool to see that all in one place. So,
That's excellent.
yeah.
So who can attend the NAMM show? Who is it open to? Like I know musicians. I've gone to NAMM. I've attended a couple of shows myself. I've seen a lot of musician buddies and artists that I was able to meet. But for our students who are watching, how would they be able to attend a NAMM show?
To attend NAMM, you have to become a member of NAMM. And once you become a member of NAMM, you can pay for the yearly fee, and that would essentially buy your ticket into NAMM. So,
Yeah, that's definitely the way that most people are doing it now. I've been lucky enough to just get invited most of the times. Well, the 2 times that I've been, and so that's always a great way to go. This is why networking, and it's something I know we talk about all the time here at Full Sail University. Networking is so important. When you're able to network with people that attend these shows, it's really easy to pick up the phone and kind of dial a buddy that's going already and get an invitation, or just see that text message, hey, we're going to NAMM, are you willing to come? And just go with them. So yeah,
it's awesome.
And everyone, NAMM is located the trade show is located in Anaheim, California. So for our online students who may be on the West Coast, it may be easier to access versus those who are out Midwest or on the East Coast. I know I've attended NAMM twice, and how I was able to go was I hunted down the music rep, the artist rep from Korg, and I found him by way of LinkedIn. And there was 2 reps. There was one on the West Coast and one on the East Coast. And the East Coast guy was David Unger. And I sent several emails to him over a period of 6 months, and to the point he wrote me back and said, what do you want from me? And most musicians who are music manufacturer, will either want discount on gear, or they wanted to maybe some advice about new purchase, things of that nature. But I contacted Mr. David Unger and told him I would just like to represent the brand, since I was playing Korg instruments since early 90s. 93, it was my first Korg instrument, which was a Korg X3, which I still have today. So he was pretty fast. He was pretty excited about that story, and he sponsored me to go to NAMM, and I was able to go each year that I went, and got an opportunity to meet him and a lot of other fellow Korg artists at the time. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Well, it used to be a few years ago. It used to be by invitation only, so you would need to get invited. It really wasn't open to the public, but now that it's available more for just anyone who's willing to go, I think it's a whole different experience. But yeah, it used to be you need to hunt someone down that knew someone that knew someone that could get you into NAMM. So yeah, it was pretty prestigious. It still is, but it used to be on a whole different level back then.
Awesome.
Yes. And remind me, guys, how long is the show? How many days is spanned in? Is it
typically it go ahead. Do you know it lasts? Go ahead.
About a week.
Yeah.
I think people start getting there around Monday. I know both of the times that I've attended, I usually get there around Wednesday, and then usually they'll have a show at night. So yeah, it's about a week long.
Excellent. Were there any particular goals that you had in mind when you went to NAMM? I know everyone, you meet up with a lot of buddies or musicians or other engineers that you may know, or take meetings. Is anything specific that stands out? Because you both, I think, attended this year's show.
Yes. I go there to try to just meet people. It's a great place for that environment. It's every vendor is there. So like you were saying, if I couldn't get a hold of them via internet, then I'm going to go there and I'm going to catch them there. Or I have emails and correspondence already with these people, and they're asking if I'm coming to NAMM. And I'm like, okay, I got 3 guys asking if I'm coming to NAMM, so I think I ought to go to NAMM this year. So typically I'm out there to meet reps from different companies, and yeah, hopefully to get some side work and stuff like that, yeah.
I mean, I'm in the same boat as you, Erik, because I'll go in there to try to network as much as I can, obviously. But just like any convention or trade show that you would go to, I'm there for the free stuff too.
There you go.
You go into a lot of these different vendors, and they'll hand out T-shirts. I know this year I came back with like a Shure T-shirt, with Cloud T-shirt. Avalon was over there, and they were handing out free stuff. So I came back with a whole luggage filled up with swag out from all the different companies that are there.
Yes.
But it's definitely a part of it. But networking has to be the number one thing you go there for. You'll meet people from all over the world there, honestly. And so it's incredible to see the amount of connections you could make there. And so that's my whole reasoning behind it.
Yep, same. Organic connections.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Standing in line with somebody and you look they look at your badge, you look at them, and or you just start talking, and then you
Yeah.
forms into something.
And everyone does something at NAMM, whether they're on
Yes.
tour or whether they're working on the next big record or whether they're into video production, whatever it may be. You know, it's just very fun. I would like to know, like, what any interesting products that you've seen this year come on the market this year. Or it could be an existing company or something that just kind of was really impressive.
Touch on something. I saw Warm Audio was there.
Oh yeah, they're
And if you don't know Warm Audio, they are a company that is now making microphones, outboard gear. They're making a whole lot of different technology for our industry. And some of them do emulate other equipment, but it was very impressive to see the booth that they had. They had all the microphones that they have in their lineup where you could test them out. And so you had people singing there live.
Oh, nice.
They had a Pro Tools session set up where you could record it and play it back and kind of hear how the different microphones sound. They had vocal chains for you to test out some of their outboard gear. So to me, Warm Audio just stood out this year so much that I came back home wanting to buy some Warm Audio gear.
That's
so it
awesome.
was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm glad you said Warm Audio. Great company. And for those who are not interested in, or who are not familiar with Warm Audio, they're based out of Austin, Texas. And I had the opportunity a couple of years back to go work in their studio out in Austin and meet the owners of that company and just hear the background of their company and the product line that they make is fascinating at a very reasonable cost rather than buying a classic Neve 1073 preamp for thousands of dollars.
Right.
You
Or
could
an
probably get that, or LA2A or 1176 compressor, you know, for a few grand. You can find a Warm Audio version for a few $100, which sounds pretty well.
Yeah.
And when I went to go work at their studio using all their gear, it sounds great, sounds fascinating. So I'm glad you mentioned Warm Audio. That's a great company there.
They are great. Yeah.
You guys check out Warm Audio. It's good. No,
yes.
no official plug there, but it's just great gear. If
Really
you're looking
good.
to expand on your hardware or just microphones or DI boxes, they offer a lot of great product lines,
Yeah.
products in their line. Any interesting people that you meet there, like celebrities? Because I know we have some photos that we're going to share too, but I had the opportunity to meet Stevie Wonder and,
amazing,
and you know, just
That's the
kind
top of the
Yeah,
line.
that, you know, that,
nothing
You
topping
said-
that
you said
one.
Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
What else
Yeah,
could we
that's
say?
But you know, just to your point, Juan, everyone is there. You know, you'd be surprised that everyone is in that trade center, in that convention center, with the same interests. You know, with
Yeah.
the products.
I think one of the pictures that you're about to share here in a little bit, I got to meet Josh Goodwin, which is a mix engineer for many, many hit records, popular hit records. He was talking about his experience mixing the latest Dua Lipa album. And so I got to meet him personally and actually got to chat with him. And I also got to meet Sylvia Massey, which is, iconic for our industry, one of the leaders in our industry. We got to talk about her experience working with Prince. I mean, how many people
Wow.
can you sit down and talk to about a legend like Prince and how she was able to bring some of her creativity or creative knowledge into some of his work too. And so, yeah, it's really cool. And then the last night I was able to see John Baptiste live.
Oh,
So,
another
right there, front
fascinating
row,
musician.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just an incredible experience. Really.
Wow. And I have a picture of Josh Goodwin on the stage with you.
Yeah, that's
Right.
Josh right there. He was talking about how he mixes his bass and what he uses for his bass, which is incredible.
Oh, wow.
So-
You feel like sharing?
Yeah, I
Oh,
I can.
I could learn.
So Pro EQ.
Okay.
Yeah.
He uses a lot of the Pro EQ stuff and Waves plugins. So he's pretty much a mix of in the box and analog gear too. But he was talking about how he doesn't really focus too much on the lower frequencies. He lets them breathe. And then after A being the low frequencies, he'll go in there and maybe alter some things, but he doesn't focus too much. And for me, it was incredible to hear someone that I consider one of the best mix engineers in our industry right now his bass, if you haven't heard any of his mixes, listen to the latest Dua Lipa album or the latest Bad Bunny album. He's the mix engineer for both of those. And the bass is just incredible. And he says he doesn't really focus on that. It just naturally comes out because of how he just gets all of the other frequencies aligned. So everything just morphs together and sounds beautiful. So
That's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah, right?
It's his own recipe.
Oh yeah, for
Yes,
sure.
that's cool.
And you mentioned the Pro Q3, which is
Yeah,
by
Pro Q.
Fab Filter.
Fab
So
Filter
if
is
someone
Pro-
is
Pro
looking
Q.
for that EQ or that product line, Fab Filter makes some amazing products. I believe it's a Pro Q4 now that they upgrade. I haven't upgraded mine just yet, but it's fascinating EQ. Very similar to the Infinite, was it Infinite EQ, I believe? Well,
Yeah, where you get
Awesome.
the reference of the bands.
Yes, the RTA on
yeah,
there, yes.
the RTA.
That's so great. That's so cool. Yeah, so we have these pictures here, and there's Sylvia, right?
Sylvia, incredible. She was at the DAD booth. She was explaining how she was converting her analog studio with a bunch of analog gear into digital. And so it was incredible and fascinating to just hear her speak on how she's evolving with technology. Someone that's been in our industry for so many years now, so into the technology. It was really cool to see.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's the thing, another highlight of NAMM, what I found in my experience is that these professionals with all of these years of just greatness that they put out in the industry, they're willing to share the secrets and willing to share their process. And you don't generally get that, they're sort of paying it forward to the.
Sometimes that's worth the trip alone. You know.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of fruit to be gained from there, and that's one of them, really. Just hearing the inside talk of how people do these things, it's incredible. It's really incredible. Yeah, they're
Absolutely.
definitely willing to share. Everybody I've seen at NAMM so far has been just an open book.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's really no gatekeeping when it comes to going to a trade show like
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
That's why I recommend it. If you all get the opportunity to go, take it.
Yes.
And then they also have live performances, as you mentioned. There's John Batiste there on keys.
There he is. It was, for me, this is one of our generation's best musicians. Incredible musician, performer. The performance that he did was phenomenal. He had the entire crowd singing and just uplifted, and it was just a great vibe, great energy, and it was really, really cool to see him live.
From New Orleans, too. Yeah,
From New Orleans, yes.
And 11 Grammys on not this past Grammy, but the year prior.
Yeah,
Just won
it.
11, album of the year.
Wow.
Just no big deal.
He played so many different instruments on that stage too. This was the Yamaha stage, so all of the instruments were Yamaha, but he played so many different ones. It was just crazy to see him go
Wow.
from the piano to the flute to this other instrument, and just like, wow, really cool.
Wow.
That's so cool. And Eric, you shared some photos too. Let's get into some of the experiences and talk about some of the things that you've experienced at NAMM.
Sure.
If I can get to the right folder. So we have some.
Yeah.
Let's open this up.
Well, that's this year. That's Andy Mack. He is the Akai MPC guru for Akai and in music. So anytime you see a tutorial or if Akai's coming out with something new, he's the guy demonstrating it, and he's done production for a lot of people. He's amazing. He can just sit down and just cook up the best beat for anybody. Different styles, different flavors, different genres. He's like a liquid producer there. He's incredible. So it was an honor to meet him in both regards. So his awesome work for Akai, and of course his great production skills as well.
That's so awesome. Yeah, we have quite a lot here, and then there we have Avid.
Yeah, big Avid stage. This was from a few years back. I can't quite remember what they were doing, what we were doing here, but I was there for it. I can't quite remember what we were doing there. I thought it was a cool picture though.
It is.
This was from before. I think this was 2019. I think. So whatever new was coming on at that time, that's what I was there to see.
Speaking of that, I attended NAMM pre-pandemic.
Yes.
So how has things changed then since, are you seeing a larger crowd now
Yes.
since it's more open and it's not so much referral based?
I think the crowd's much larger now. I think the crowd is much larger now. When I went in 2019, which I believe that was, the crowd was pretty large. It was huge. And then I went back in 2022, and it was reduced quite a bit. It was smaller. But that was just because of the travel restrictions and things, I guess, everybody was still having, I guess. But this year, it was like massive. It was like amusement park, I would say. It was huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. The biggest I've ever seen.
Yeah, I was amazed at the amount of people there. I went in 2018, and it wasn't as packed. And then also seeing how many more vendors are now in there. I mean, it seemed like thousands. I mean, all the different floors, all the different levels.
Yep.
It was just, it's impossible for you to go one day and try to visit every single vendor and booth that's out there because it's just massive.
I find that for those who will attend NAMM in the future, I find that the NAMM app was very resourceful.
Oh, yes. It's huge.
Making sure you catch all of your shows that you want to see, workshops, educational workshops, or artist performances, and that's still active these days with the NAMM app.
Yeah, it helps a lot because there are, like, in the mall, they have those great big things, a big map of where everything is, but it's kind of hard to look at because it's so massive in there. But with the app, it's just like, this floor, this booth, so you're just like, okay, boom, 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 and you're there. So it cuts through quite a bit.
They did a great job developing the app because wherever you were at, it would use your GPS to guide you to whatever other booth you wanted to go to. So I saw that, and
that's so cool.
I was blown away.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Give yourself time to navigate through the crowd, though, to get to that booth.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna take a while.
Yeah, for sure.
Because even for some of the performances that are happening with the artists, you have crowds of people that would just congregate around
And it's hard to get, it's hard to get through or get in.
Absolutely.
If you get there a little late, then you might not make it in.
Absolutely. As far as, we talked about networking at NAMM and how NAMM that's an interesting, a very valuable attribute of NAMM is to go there to network, to broaden your brand or your business opportunities. I know when I went, I was sort of old school. I had CDs, and this was not that long ago. Again, this was like 2019.
Right.
Maybe 2018, but now you let me know, Juan, that they have the QR codes on the badges now. So it's a great way to network without even if someone doesn't have the best interpersonal skills and feel like speaking up and introducing themselves. You could just go take a snapshot and get their bio or music.
So you get the lanyards. Once you come into NAMM, you do the registration and you'll get this lanyard that you walk around with. That says your name, and if you want to put the company that you're affiliated with, you could also put that there. But now they'll have this QR code on the lanyard, right on the bottom of your name, where using the NAMM app, you can now scan that QR code, and it'll just send you to that person's profile. So it was really easy to network. It's no need for business cards that, you could keep those in your pocket, and you'll find them in your dryer a couple of weeks later.
Exactly.
So it's like no need to do anything with actual physical networking like we used to before with CDs and other things. I think that the QR code experience this year was phenomenal. People were able to message me. I'm still keeping in touch with a lot of people that I met through the NAMM app.
That's awesome. Yeah. So it does benefit you if you do get the app to update to set up your profile properly. So when somebody scans your profile, they can see who you are and what you're about. So
that's important.
Yes.
You don't want to have your old.
Yeah, it's like nothing on there or something. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
No one's able to find you now. So.
Yep.
That's a good point and very relevant to our students who are working in portfolio cycles where they have their portfolio site, making sure that their information is up to date, examples of their work, because you never know who's going to be listening to your materials.
For sure.
Yeah.
When you're not in front of them and checking you out to see if you're the perfect fit for that next job.
Yeah.
So that is so cool.
I always tell my student keep their portfolios updated at all times. If you're attending a school like Full Sail University, we're bound to meet people left and right, especially like a week we had Hall of Fame week where you never know who you're going to bump into. And the last thing you need is to not have your portfolio ready when you meet this superstar. You meet someone that you really wanted to meet before, and now you have no way of showcasing any of your work. So yeah, it's very important to have that, regardless of where you're going or where you're going to be. It's important to do so.
For sure. Big time.
So we covered, some of our experiences at NAMM, and, there I am on the screen there. If we could show the video. This is Brian Culberson. I've been listening to his music since a youngster. So to be able to not only just speak with him and introduce myself, but to figure out what types of microphones he mics his piano, and he's with Lewitt microphones, and there you can see him there at the booth. So a lot of product review. The microphones are there, as you can see, with headsets or headphones where you can just speak into and just kind of check out the tone and proximity and just how things respond. So NAMM is quite a lot to see. And again, you have to give yourself time to get around. As you said, Juan and Erik, give yourself a few days. I know a lot of my musician buddies would fly in the end of the week and not be able to cover all the ground that they will hope to do so.
Yeah, the more I go, the wider my time going gets, Because at first, I think I went like 2 or 3 days, and then there was something that I could have went to on Sunday that I had to leave for, so I was like, oh man, I got to give myself the day before and the day after, at least something, to give me some coverage there, in case we need to meet up or something like that.
Absolutely.
It's so much to see that it's a tragedy if you're not able to see it all, because you're there to make sure you get it. And even this time I went 3 days, I didn't get to see it all.
No, I think it was impossible this year to see it all.
Yeah.
You'd have to just keep moving the whole time.
It's like having 20 guitar centers stacked
Yes,
up.
exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yep, that's true.
And the YouTube channel also for NAMM, just a lot of
that's right.
the presentations and what they show after the fact is a great way to check out the products.
Yeah.
There's an image up on the screen I took a few years back, but you could kind of see this is a small glimpse into the magnitude of how many attendees will attend the conference.
And that was before they opened it to the public, I think, right?
Yes.
So it was already jam-packed. So imagine this year. It was
wow,
incredible to see. Yeah, you said something about the microphones earlier.
Yes.
And when we were talking to Sylvia Massey, someone asked her, what's her favorite microphone of all times? And a question like that to Miss Sylvia is just insane. And so she didn't hesitate. And you would think, she would say something like a U87, U60 something. No, she said SM58.
Okay, yeah.
Just versatile, good for anything. And so she said that's the one that she would keep.
Right on.
And that's the one that she would use. And
dynamic mic, yeah.
It's pretty cool to see and get those little secrets that you might not be able to hear outside of that environment. And to know that some of these people are using very cheap equipment to make so many great things.
Absolutely.
It was cool.
That's a great point there. The dynamic mics, even for our students, and I was just at Disney working on a project. I was at a gig, and it was at the end of the night, and I needed to track some background vocals. And I instantly knew I needed to bring a dynamic mic just to kind of reject some of the background noise. It handles good sound pressure levels. So I broke out my Sennheiser, was it 435? I may be messing up the model of the microphone. But once I got home and listened to the files, it sounded like I recorded in a fairly decent room, and this was in a boardroom, untreated room. So students, you have the SM57, the dynamic microphone, which is very similar to the 58, but it's still in the same product line, and you can get some really great results with that microphone.
Oh yeah, don't underestimate the equipment you have. And honestly, nowadays with anything, I know people that record voice notes, and with that they'll record their lead vocal, and it was something they recorded on their phone. So really don't limit yourself because you think you don't have the equipment that these famous people that you look up to have. Some of them don't use most of the equipment that they have in that studio. They'll go back to their roots and what they use. So don't let that limit yourself as a student and as you begin to now get into the industry, really.
Sure.
That's so awesome. You know, here's a picture of Eric and I. This is very important to us because we
Yes,
love
for sure.
synthesis.
Oh, yes.
So
This is right where we'd go, for sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
One
You
of
can
the
see
stops.
really zen there. You could just sit on a comfortable pillow and just start tweaking sounds and just sound designing right there. But
Yep.
as you can see, you know, you could be sitting next to someone who's a content creator, an enthusiast, a professional, or an amateur, but just have to share the same